looking at the Leatherman MUT EOD. Now this is going to be a specifically geared multi-tool for those in the military, but more specific than that, it's going to be for EOD technicians. And while it has a lot in common with the standard Leatherman MUT, there are definitely some key differences that set it apart to make it an EOD tool. All right, let's get through the specs first. So overall length on this is 4 7/8 of an inch. That's going to translate to about 124 millimeters. This is going to be, size-wise, overall footprint, the MUT and the MUT EOD are going to be the two largest multi-tools that Leatherman actually makes. Now, they're not quite the heaviest, but they're definitely, as far as frame size goes, definitely the biggest. So 1.5 inches in overall width, or about 38 millimeters, and the depth on it is about 3/4 of an inch. But if you include the pocket clip, it sticks out a little further, makes it a little wider, and that brings out to just right at a full inch. So 19 millimeters and 25 millimeters respectively.
This is the real Avid gun tool Max. I've had this gun multi-tool for about 2 years now, and I've definitely put it to the test. Today I'm going to go over my likes, my dislikes, my overall opinion, and whether you should get this for your gun multi-tool. Let's start out with the pouch that it comes in. The pouch itself is nice and durable. With the MOLLE on the back, if you're just trying to put it on your regular belt, there's a lot of slop there and it moves around quite a bit. The screwdriver bits, they're held in there with elastic, and initially I was worried about them falling out, but that hasn't been an issue throughout the entirety of my ownership of this multi-tool. Now, let's open it up to the actual thing. First and foremost, this is a big boy. This thing is girthy, which makes it kind of awkward to use, but if you're using the hammer on it, then it does come in handy because you have some substance behind it. The screwdriver attachment is the main reason that I got this. It's super easy to use. You just hit this switch right here and you can open up to a 90, or you can hold it open to a full 180. I almost forgot my geometry for a second. 180 degrees. Now, the screwdriver bits, they're held in with a magnet. Initially, I was worried that the magnet wasn't strong enough, and on these smaller attachments, if you put it in there, it might fall out. But when you have the bigger end attached to the magnet, all day long, and it's not coming out. So it's great, but if you want to use anything other than what bit you have in there, then you have to carry this pouch with you wherever you go because it has the rest of the bits. Now, as for the knife, it's basically as sharp as when I first got it. And that's because, like I said, this is big and it's really awkward to use. When you have it, when you open it and you put your hand on it, you've got this hook that is in the way of your grip, but also it feels weird. So usually I have my other knife on me and I use that one. This one, like I said, I don't get much use out of because it's just really awkward to use with this big of a multi-tool. Right next to our pin punch, we have our windage and elevation screwdriver. Overall, for the price, it's a great option out there, especially if you want something more versatile than your traditional Swiss Army knife.
So today we're going to look at Gerber's MP600. So this multi-tool isn't anything new to the market, but it's the tool that Gerber says is most used by the military. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at what this has to offer for, less than $40, a USA made, mid-size multi-tool that's being issued to the US military, and whether or not it's going to be a good civilian tool and whether or not it's just going to be good for you. So let's go ahead and see what this thing has to offer. So the first thing I want to hit with you is that this, to my knowledge, was the very first one-handed deploying plier, which is super cool. So with just a flick of the wrist, you can easily open this guy and get to work. You don't have to do two hands and, twist it open like most Leatherman tools, like most other multi-tools on the market from SOG or whoever. Now, companies like Leatherman and SOG have started to mimic this.
Today we're reviewing the Leatherman OHT, which is Leatherman's direct competitor to the Gerber Center Drive. Now this tool has some similarities to the Gerber center drive, but there's also some very distinct differences as well, making it a very unique tool in itself. So let's go ahead and take a look. So first things first, let's take a look at the sheath. The sheath is definitely bulkier than Leatherman's other offerings. So the big selling point of this tool is that it is one-handed operation. And they definitely steal some ideas from the Gerber center drive, but it's definitely uniquely a Leatherman product. It's not just a straight knockoff. This tool was first released in 2004 and has pliers that just slide right out like that. And the pliers are spring-loaded, which makes them really easy to use one-handed. And like I said, it's a one-handed tool, so you can retract the pliers one-handed. You can also deploy them one-handed with the flick of a wrist, similar to the Gerber center drive, just like that. So in addition to the one-handed deployment and the spring-loaded pliers, the plier heads have removable wire cutters with the hard wire cutting nook in the very bottom, the standard plier grips, and then the needle nose function, which is very similar to the Leatherman Wave in size. Speaking of size, when fully closed, this tool is 4.5 inches long, 1.8 inches wide at the buttons, and 0.8 inches thick, which is pretty good sized. When you compare that to the Wave, it's noticeably smaller. Even though the Wave weighs 8.7 ounces and this tool weighs right at 9 ounces, the tool itself is more comparable to the Surge in its overall size dimensions. And Leatherman on their website lists it as a heavy-duty multi-tool. They're really targeting the military and law enforcement demographic with this tool. So about the size of the Surge, but the weight of the Wave. And a large part of that's because of the retractable pliers. They had to make a lot of room inside the tool. So if I put this white piece of paper down, you can see there's a lot of empty space inside the tool that allow the plier heads to go in and out. So relatively lightweight tool considering it's a larger form factor, which is actually pretty good if you have like gloved hands or something like that. The extra real estate is going to be great for using this tool.
Having a multi-tool in your everyday carry system can really make life a lot easier so that you can get those light to medium tasks done without having to constantly bounce back and forth to your toolkit. Well, a while back, I picked up the SOG Power Access multi-tool. It's really got that idea in mind. It comes with a pocket clip. It's on the slimmer, lighter side for those light to medium tasks that you might need to do. And with my current lifestyle, living on the road in an RV, a multi-tool is a necessity more than ever. And so we're gonna see how this stands up to the competition like the Gerber MP600 and Leatherman's offerings like the Skeletal and the iconic Wave, or does it fall flat on its face? Alrighty, so the thing that really got me interested out of the gate is its compact size, but the fact that on this compact size, they pack in 18 different tools that are all accessible from the outside. You don't have to open it except for the pliers themselves. So the pliers you still have to open up to access, but everything else is on the exterior of the tool, which is pretty sweet, particularly for the price that you're going to be paying. A lot of firearm work I found was very easy to do with this. You know, if you're doing maintenance on a firearm and other things like that, it does work really well, and it's a nice feature to have. A lot of other multi-tools in this price and size range will not have this little flathead.